Our next speaker is Cyndi O'Meara. She's a nutritionist. She's an author of the best-selling series Changing Habits, Changing Lives. She's just been involved in a major television production which is coming on later this year. It's entitled Nourish, and she works with her husband, who's a chiropractor, with elite athletes. So please make very welcome Cyndi.
I count myself one of the lucky Australians, especially with regard to my upbringing. I came from a chiropractic family. In the beginning, my father was a pharmacist, but he realised that pharmacy was not fulfilling his needs to help people. He felt he was hurting them. So in 1956, he flew from New Zealand to Davenport, Iowa, and attended Palmer College of Chiropractic. He met my mum. She was a nurse and the eldest of 11 children. They married and moved to Australia. My sister Lisa came first. She's now a chiropractor in Bribie Island. Then came my brother and myself. My father and mother were way ahead of their time with the new philosophy given to them by D.D. and B.J. Palmer. They decided in the early 60s that they would bring their children up the chiropractic way with regular maintenance, care and no medical intervention, that is drug or vaccines, except of course in case of emergency. My siblings and I were the lucky children in Australia. When vaccines were being given in the schools, we were the ones that sat in the classroom waiting. My parents and their chiropractic philosophy gave me an amazing start in terms of health and well-being. I stand before you at the age of 45 and I've never taken an antibiotic, a Panadol, an aspirin, or any form of medication. My children, as you see there, are 16, 14 and 12, and they too have had no need for any medications. What's funny is that I have nurses, I have doctors' wives asking me, how do you keep your children off antibiotics? The answer is simple. It's about lifestyle and a philosophy which includes chiropractic care, being active, having a positive outlook, taking responsibility and healthy eating. This is not a secret known only to the chiropractic fraternity. The medical community knows this as well. This is Dr. Ray Levy. He's the founder of the Global Medical Forum. They're a group of doctors, scientists and health professionals from around the world who meet once a year in exotic locations to find solutions to the out-of-control sickness community that we have today. He declared this recently. A small percentage of the population consumes the vast majority of the healthcare budget for diseases that are very well known and by and large behavioural. In other words, they're sick because of the way they choose to live their lives and not because of environmental or genetic factors beyond their control. I know all of you know this, but how do we get our patients to change and then in turn imprint this on their children? We have a society of pill poppers. We teach our young from a very small age how to feel better is by taking something like Panadol, antibiotics, alcohol, cigarettes, just to name a few. You've all seen it. A mother may sit down, a father may sit down, have a glass of wine, and delicately sipping it declare, that feels better. Or take a pill, making the same statement. So then when at 15 or younger, our children are offered ecstasy or a similar recreational drug and told it will make them feel better, they have no qualms about taking it. After all, they've learnt that it's normal behaviour to take something in order to feel better. But if we teach our children that help comes from within, we know we will have children that will always have help at hand without the need of outside stimulus and support. You know, this was brought home to me with my son Brogan. At the age of 13, he was in a football accident. He broke his collarbone and the break was pretty severe. It looked a little bit like this. By the time we got to the hospital, he fainted 3 times, so I knew he was in pain. The nurse in emergency asked Brogan what his pain level was like on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being it was okay, 10 it wasn't too good. He told her it was about an 8, and the nurse immediately came back and said, we'll give you an injection to help your pain. Without any prompting from me or his dad, Brogan said he'd be okay. This is a 13-year-old boy. He made it through that entire break and healing process without any painkillers or medication. I knew that the philosophy that my chiropractor husband and I had taught had stood the best test. And this is what we need to start teaching our children. The amazing philosophy and way of living is not just about health. This is about life and coping with life and what comes with it. We have a responsibility to share this information, to not only speak the words, but do the do. We must be an example. Gandhi said, be, and I'll stress, be the change you want to see in the world. Don't just talk about it. I have a question for you. If you knew that you only had 6 weeks to live and you were told that the only hope for survival was to change your lifestyle, would you do it? You'd do it, wouldn't you? Is there anyone in here who wouldn't do it? No. But let me tell you the statistics. The reality in the general population is that only 1 in 10 will change if given a death sentence. Sure, most people will change for around 10 days to 2 weeks, and then it gets too hard, and they go back to their old ways and are resigned to die and live a shortened, debilitated life. So, even with death as the alternative, we can only get 10% of the population to change. How do we get the people to change if all they've got is a sore back or a sore neck? There's a gentleman at the Harvard University, his name is John Kotter, and he's written the book Heart of Change. He says there are 3 factors that are required in order to change an individual, a community, an organisation or a